First initial thoughts of Alien Earth show. I'll let you go first, my man.
Ellen Ripley shows up. No, I'm just kidding.
Alien Earth also came out and said that they're not necessarily going based off of the prequels.
The fact that a company named Prodigy has its own city. So this is a futuristic world where basically monopolies rule the world.
Yes. Guys, welcome back to the channel. We are in a very particular, interesting place. We are in one of the, I would say sets, would you say sets or lookalike sets of the Alien Earth TV show, which by the time you see this is actually out right now.
Right.
The anticipation to be able to talk about it amongst each other has been very high. Has been very high. But take a second, introduce yourself, tell me about your content. He's another fellow content creator and also a humongous Alien fan. LP, all up to you, my man.
Yeah, you can find me on TikTok, Longmire. My handle's at Longmire LP. I go by LP, but I am a lifelong Alien fan. Like you said, it's easily my favorite franchise,
100%
of all time. I cover it extensively on my channel, talk about it all the time, and it's just so cool that FX has, sent me out, acknowledged it, and I'm here, and just giving us this opportunity to just talk about the show. It's amazing,
Dude. And a little bit of background, me and LP have known each other virtually on TikTok for the longest time. The first few videos I saw of him, he goes into the deepest dives of alien lore that even my little brain was like, I never thought about it that way. But absolutely amazing content. He does have a YouTube channel as well. What's the YouTube channel handle?
You can find me LP Longmire.
Perfect. I'll definitely put it down in the description down below. So, Alien Earth, this is the first ever television show in the series. So, off the bat, we're getting a whole different production value with that.
It's like a zoo, but the animals got out.
Because you can make the argument that with TV shows, you get almost a little bit more detail. You're going to get a little bit more detail into the characters, a little bit more character depth. There's definitely that whole different aspect there with Alien Earth. And I think with that first episode off the bat, it really showcases that. Look, this is not a movie. This is not one of the movies. This is a show. We're going to get a lot more detail. And even though it's the first episode, what we're going to talk about today, I think we both agreed that we're going to need to see more than one episode. So whatever we say here, we definitely, at the end of the day, need to see more than one episode.
Yeah, that was definitely, like, we were talking off camera, and that was definitely my big takeaway after the first episode was, I feel like I just need to see more.
Yeah.
I just need to see some more episodes. I feel like, it's difficult for me to, because, you've seen it, and it's just like I need to see where the story goes next, before I can fully form where I'm with it, where I'm at with it. You know what I mean? So
100%.
But I mean, if you want to dive
we'll get into it. Guys, remember, if you haven't done it already, subscribe, hit the notification button, and remember, big thanks to FX and Hulu for having us. We are about to get into spoiler territory, so get ready. Here we go. First initial thoughts of Alien Earth show. I'll let you go first, my man.
Ellen Ripley shows up. No, I'm just kidding.
Amanda Ripley shows up. Whoa, mind blown. The daughter. Oh my God. It's nothing but isolation. That's what it is. Alien isolation.
So this first episode introduces something that, has completely new to the Alien franchise. The concept of, obviously, I know everybody's wanting to talk about the new species of alien.
100%.
The thing that which that's awesome, and I will talk about that, but the thing that I'm like the most fascinated by is this concept of, okay, we're not just dealing with synthetics. Now we've got cyborgs.
Yes.
Now we've got hybrids.
Yes.
And that is that
it
really worked for me.
It worked, but it threw me off.
Okay, what were your thoughts?
Okay, so like for me, we all know in the first movie, Ash is a synthetic, not a cyborg. We have a cyborg now essentially commanding the ship. Immediately I think, okay, how are we going to tie this in? Why is he a cyborg versus a synthetic? When did they change? Like, this is the first thing I'm thinking. When did they change over to synthetics running the ships instead of cyborgs?
Right.
Does that make sense?
So I think it's sort of like, it maybe, because I've seen the actor who plays Morrow. I saw an interview with him where he was describing about, it's kind of like, you're supposed to think of him as like the flip phone version of the iPhone. He's an older, so it's sort of like we've not fully maybe got there yet. Well, That wouldn't be the truth. That wouldn't be this is only
because
2
how many? It's only 2 years. That's
Yeah,
what messed me
true.
up. I was
So
like,
they're
okay, that's only
synthetics.
2 years.
Right, they're there, but I guess we've also got this, cyborg where it's like they are human,
Yes.
but they have.
There's a lot of questions. Let's put it that way.
Right,
This first
right.
episode definitely added a lot of questions.
Yeah.
And I think to go on to what your point, let's go back to the corporations. Let's go back to everything because I think that's what you're about to touch on.
Yeah. It's like you're saying, it's like when he's first introduced in the episode, you think, oh, he's kind of like the Ash of the ship. But then that kind of throws you for that. And, you have that crawl at the beginning that says.
Oh, it was beautiful.
Yeah, I love that.
It was
And I
beautiful.
love that breakdown. It really just, throws you into, okay, this is, and like you're saying, it's like, this is a show. So we're able to kind of just
Draw it out.
really let it breathe. Yeah.
Let it breathe.
Yeah. Man, that's why I just can't wait to see more. But it's, that's a fascinating concept. Like one of the things that really struck me, I think it was probably my favorite moment of the entire episode is when they're going into, when she's explaining like, well, why a child?
Yes.
And they're like, well, you're an adult's mind. It's not. And then she's like, well, why am I
Going
not?
back to Prodigy's synthetics. Yes.
Yeah. And just getting into like, you can really tell like, wow, this franchise is going to get into some really heady stuff.
Yes.
That's going to be really,
Yes.
but I think it's fascinating because, and you know me, if anybody follows my channel, I love to get into
Deep
kind of like
dives.
the screenwriting aspect
100%.
of it. What makes a great screenplay? What makes a great story is your protagonist and antagonist are two sides of the same coin. They're quite similar. And I suspect is Morrow and Wendy, are they going to be kind of...
That's good.
Because they're so
That's
similar.
good.
They're very different.
That's good.
She's a
more
human
advanced,
consciousness
more advanced, synthetic.
put into a android's body.
Correct.
And he's the reversal.
Correct.
He's a human body, but he's got
correct.
kind of that. So that was a fascinating reversal of those two. And I wonder, that's what I'm theorizing on where this show is potentially going to head, is those two are going to maybe come head to head.
So like overall, and that was kind of like definitely my thought process as well, is like first and foremost, this show is going to give you a lot of detail. I could already tell.
Yeah.
There's a lot of open doors already like coming into play when it comes to synthetics. Comes to the companies. I think the companies are the most fascinating part.
Yeah.
Where you have Wayland, then you have Yutani, because they're not merged at this point, correct?
no.
They're not merged because from what we know, in Alien or Aliens, it's Wayland Yutani.
Right.
And there's some sort of a merger later on where they become Wayland and Yutani, but right now in the show, they're only Wayland and they're only Yutani,
Yeah.
and then Prodigy, which is our newer company.
Right.
So that was the most fascinating part for me, is having the three different companies essentially racing to become the best company to
Yeah.
essentially, become the best
Yeah.
in that way. So I'm curious how that's all going to tie in Alien, because we don't really get very political in Alien, if you think about it. We get more scientific and more about Mother Nature and more about, like the development of the alien, not necessarily political. Besides maybe aliens a little bit, to know that Wayland Yutani is a corrupt corporation. I'm curious to see if they're going to dive into the political side of it. All these three companies fighting for this ship.
I believe so. I believe that's where. And what I love about Alien is the way it introduces information to you. Like, in the beginning, like in the first Alien, when you first watch it, now we know because the movie came out in 1979. We're very well aware that Ash is a synthetic. But when you saw that film for the first time, you had no idea.
No, you have no idea.
When his head is pulled off, and you're like, "What?" And because for the first however, I don't know, hour of the movie, you just think the alien is the threat. And you just think that's really all then you realize, wait, this guy's the threat. Then you realize, wait, there's this company he's working for. And this is all kind of, what is this?
Yeah.
And I feel that this show has Noah Hawley's introducing info in a very similar way. And I know he's a huge fan of Alien.
Yes.
And he's kind of giving us information a very similar, like, okay, you think this, now we're going to throw this at you. Now we're going to throw this at you. Now we're going to, and that's really cool. I like how you can tell he's a super fan.
100%. He's a super fan.
I want to talk about this. Like, legitimately, the opening of the episode when you are on the Maginot, did it not feel like you were just transported
Back to 1979? Yes.
And, Fede Alvarez with Alien Romulus killed it. Absolutely love that movie. And that was something that was a big deal with him
But you could see he got a lot of inspiration from Alien Isolation, the video game from Alien Romulus.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Yes.
And he wanted that movie to feel like a hybrid of Alien and Aliens, which makes sense. It takes place in between. And I felt like this show
felt more like, you want to say it?
Yes,
it felt more like Alien.
Yeah,
yes, especially in the beginning.
Love that. Like I was literally like, when I was watching the first, 5-10 minutes of when you're on the Maginot, I was like, oh my gosh, he's doing
all the detail.
He's
literally, there were
doing
shots for shots. So like, I'm really good at shots. Like I did a little bit of filmography. I know you did too. There were shots for shots.
It looks
just like the first Alien movie. So we're so like fanboying right now on just this whole show, but we are going to get to a really hot part later that I'm just going to say it now. I might use it as my opening, so cut it later. But we believe as well, and we're going to get into this, is that Alien Earth could possibly divide the fandom.
Possibly
divide the fandom.
Yeah.
But we're going to get into that in a minute.
We'll get into that in a second.
But overall, yes, we'll go to the first part, go to the ship, the detail, shot for shot. It looks like the original Alien film. Just how the crew interacted with each other. You knew how everything's, the pods, dude, the pods.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
The noises, all of it. The set's awesome.
The aesthetic,
great.
It was perfect. Yeah, so perfectly well done. Like I honestly could have just watched 8 hours of that.
Yes.
Of just like the crew just on the ship, and I love that. I love Alien though.
And Fede Alvarez did a great job with Romulus with the same thing that they're doing with the show, is that they're good at remembering, look, all of these practical effects looked futuristic in 1979. We are keeping that feel, and it just sits so well.
Yeah.
And instead of like making it look too futuristic, it still looks like it's from 1979.
Yeah.
All the detail, and I love that.
Yeah. And I love, the combat. This is something that has always been, I think this is a big debate amongst, just not just fans, but, filmmakers is, Fede Alvarez was really big on, I want it to be practical. Let's have the xenomorph be practical. I want to return back to that, just like, the first one did. But then we've seen, listen, I'm a huge defender of how well it looked in Alien Covenant. The xenomorph in Alien Covenant looks...
smashing on the spaceship was rough. Come on, it bashing its head in the spaceship. I was like, okay,
technically
I don't know.
The Praetomorph, but I thought there were certain shots where it was frightening in that movie, especially the scene where it bursts out of the back and stuff like that.
No, that stuff was good. All that stuff was good, but the specific shot on the ship of it bashing its head when it's flying away, I said, okay, I don't know about that one.
But people hate on the CGI. I think it can work, but I think this show does a great job of balancing both.
Oh, 100%.
Because you see there's shots where it's very much like, again, you're right back in 1979. Yeah, you're right back in that film. But then there's some CG, and I thought it looked great.
But let's get into that. So, okay, we're at the spaceship, and just for anyone that for some reason loves spoilers and is listening to this, so we meet our crew. We see that the giant spaceship from Wayland at the time is out searching for different types of species of aliens. We see a shot of all the different creatures, which is very cool to be able to get different creatures in this universe. And of course, a face hugger, and of course, a possibly xenomorph. Maybe there was a tail in there. I don't remember, but mostly a face hugger.
Yeah.
They all go to sleep, and we see multiple different shots of clearly the ship has been taken over by the aliens, multiple different creatures. Like it is in a bad state of array, and the ship is heading towards Earth to crash at Earth. That is where we get one of our first shots of the alien itself. Now, you are very deep in the alien lore of different types of aliens. Was that the Big Chomp?
Oh, you think that was Big Chap?
I think that was Big Chap. The type of alien.
Oh, like just a xenomorph.
Correct.
Yeah,
because there's different types.
Oh,
there's technically different types. Do you think because its size is massive?
Yeah, he's
like you see that head. I'm like, why is it so big?
Yeah, that's definitely you got of course David, and he created the neomorph and then the praetomorph, and then the idea maybe would be that the next evolutionary step would be the xenomorph.
The xenomorph. Yeah. Is that the next revolutionary step?
I think so.
You think so?
Yeah.
Is that because, and we'll get into that too, but, Alien Earth also came out and said that they're not necessarily going based off of the prequels or say Covenant and Prometheus. Okay, so they're kind of doing a little bit of their own thing, and they're going a little bit more to Alien.
Let's just address it. What is your thoughts on that? I'll tell you mine.
I'm okay with it.
I am too.
I'm okay with it because the whole David being God thing doesn't necessarily 100% work for me. Instead of going out and finding an extraterrestrial life, which you can still do the engineers, that's fine. That's cool with me. Maybe the black goo with the engineers. But the fact that David was able to recreate that DNA and then create the xenomorph, that was always like, I was okay with it. Like I was down for it, but I do like it kind of makes it less scary, if that makes sense.
And also that whole thing of, David making them, like that could so easily be retconned or explained away by the dude has a God complex.
100%.
He just, in his mind, he thinks he made something that was already there, that's been around for thousands of years. It'll be
100%.
interesting to see how they tackle it. But yeah, let's address that it has been said that this show may not be necessarily canon to...
Yes.
And
Prometheus and Covenant specifically, but it is canon to Romulus and everything else.
Yes, and I'm as someone who's been a lifelong Alien fan, I know, and I think that's what you and I were discussing off camera. Is I think there's some fans that are not going to like that.
Yes, and that goes back to our main point. I think it will split the fandom,
and I do think I see that. But for me, as being a lifelong Alien fan, like I don't know, I'm quite accustomed to. I don't know. I've read books and comics
to
and
different.
Like
Alien Resurrection, that was a thing.
Yeah, that's not new to this franchise.
To change things.
Yeah, they've always kind of, and I saw where, someone said, who's involved in making the show, they said that that's the beauty of this franchise, that you don't have to, that it's not necessarily like the MCU where it's got to all be just
and I did like that
perfectly
point. I did
fit
like that
into,
point.
like you can.
Like there's nods, but it's not fully direct.
Yes, and it can kind of, in a weird, funny way, it's like, oh, each thing is alien to each other.
100%.
Right?
Like
you know what I mean?
like
it sort of thematically works in that way. But I don't know. I've always looked at Alien and Predator, and if you want to put them together, I've always viewed them as a choose your own adventure. Okay, there is a way they all could connect. And, of course, that could change as the show progresses. But
so you like how big the alien was, that he looked like a classic alien from 1979.
Yeah,
you don't think it was like, okay, is it like a weird science hybrid? Because I make the argument in Alien Romulus, especially with the face huggers, how skinny and black they were.
Right.
That was not a pure one-for-one xenomorph because that was made in a lab.
Correct.
Versus where did they get these creatures from maybe the original homeworld?
Right, yeah.
If that makes sense. That's where I'm kind of getting at.
Yeah, technically all those facehuggers on Romulus were cloned.
Yeah, they're all cloned.
Right.
That's why they're black, a little bit skinnier, a little bit faster. And to go back to the alien Earth, you could see the facehugger is massive. When he's in that container that you clearly see that like it attached to human, that thing is the biggest facehugger I've ever seen.
Like when you see that shot in this episode where, the head just comes into the door window and it's like you said, it's huge.
Huge. Why is it that big? So in my mind, I'm thinking like a big nerd. I'm like, is this like the true like mega form, like the original one-for-one form of what the xenomorph is supposed to be versus saying going back to Romulus where those were genetically modified versions. Mm-hmm. We're going into super detail, but that's pretty much what I thought about it when I thought about the big alien. I loved it. It was awesome. And then we go down to Earth. So the ship crashes the Earth. I want to make sure we get through this entire episode. We could ramble forever. But we get down to Earth and we pretty much figure out that Prodigy is working on new synthetics involving the children who it seem like, they're kind of ill. I don't know what like illness they have, but they have a death-defying illness.
Right.
That where he takes these children and puts them into synthetics and essentially gives them a new life. I want to talk about the symbolism of Peter Pan, Neverland. The episode is called Neverland, and just the overall like parts of that until we get to the end part. But that part specifically with the companies, I want to talk about the company Prodigy, the owner, the idea of the symbolism, and where do you think it's going to go? It's
so creepy and just so like you can tell it's like we are really entering into really ethical, moral horror territory of this idea that you are property. Your property, like you and that's kind of made clear to her, to Wendy that it's like. We own you. Or, that's right. She says it to those children. They say, when do we leave? She goes, you don't leave.
Yeah. But because her human side is more or less gone.
Yes. That was fascinating. Because I kept thinking, okay, she's going to have a human consciousness inside of but they explain that it's like, no, I mean, you don't have, your brain doesn't work.
Feel any of that stuff.
No, so she's actually functioning more like a robot.
Yeah.
But you can see that internal, and Sydney Chandler is, I just want to say, such an incredible actress.
100%.
And you can tell that such a duality there
100%.
that she's having to juggle there of
and how they're playing as a kid versus robot and still trying to
she's really
yes.
juggling a lot as an actor. It's like really impressive to watch. But it's like this idea that I'm essentially a doll, but underneath I am a person.
Yes.
And I want to be a person, but how can I be a person? You're essentially, and this is what Alien has, the whole franchise has always sort of, it's that idea of like, you have programming, right?
Yes.
And this programming is, but I want to go against that programming. I want to, that was what was so fascinating about David. David was programmed to take care of Mr. Wayland.
Yeah.
And he needed to, his programming wouldn't allow him to kill Mr. Wayland, so he needed to work around. So he used the engineers to kill him.
Yeah.
That's why he kind of provoked him at the end of Prometheus. And I think that's what's so clever that's why I'm so intrigued by Morrow's story, like him crashing the ship. He clearly is
clearly a little bit
responsible.
more violent. Clearly he has an objective.
He let the aliens out.
Didn't save anybody.
No, and I'm fascinated to know, like, okay, what is he trying to do? Like,
100%.
is he trying to, does he want to, is this like a David 2.0 where it's like, I want to destroy the world?
Yes.
Or is this just more like it's a guy representing like, I'm just going against the company? Or does he just want to? Interesting.
Kind of like a David 2.0.
Yeah.
Like going after his own will. Or he's, but
I want to burn it all down,
To be fair, though, he did call the company, didn't he? He was trying to call the company.
That's true.
He's trying to call the company. No. He did try to call the company. Or at least we think.
Right. So he's clearly taking orders from someone. Yeah. So somebody's kind of, giving him that idea. But and how much of that is he wanting to do that? Yeah. Is he wanting to go along with that? Or is he he seems very under the spell of 100%.
100%.
Even that line where he goes, "I'm not your brother."
Yeah.
Like that was cold.
Wow. That was cold. Yeah, just to finish up with, especially with the kids and just how that is.
You're going to be the first person to transition from a human body to a synthetic. What makes them geniuses is the fact that they're children.
I love that dynamic. I love how every single one of them are kids at heart, or like they were kids.
Yeah.
I think that's a fresh, new idea on everything. Because how many times can we see adults go into the same situation and mess up?
Right.
Adding kids to the situation, or a mindset of the kids.
Yeah.
They're a little bit smarter than adults.
Right. And
they could technically get out of that situation. They're a little bit more creative.
Right.
And especially with those feelings essentially gone, they're not going to fear. Mm-hmm. They're not going to feel anything. I think them versus the alien creatures is going to be a very interesting dynamic. And they're technically super powered.
Right.
You see Wendy fall from a very high building and sprint off. So they're stronger than regular synthetics. I don't think we've ever seen that.
No, and from a storytelling perspective, it's so smart because when this was first introduced or announced to us, like whenever it was 2 years ago or something, that they're doing an Alien Earth show, you're as a storyteller, you're thinking, you're trying to wrap your head around that.
Especially timeline wise.
And you're just but you're also just kind of thinking like, okay, but the big thing with Alien is a lot of characters die.
Yeah.
And how are you going to do a TV show
with a lot of characters
and not
dying.
feel like plot armor?
100%,
it's like, the characters always,
yes.
but if it's like, they're robots,
and they're stronger.
You can see Wendy get damaged in the show. You could see her. There is that threat level of like, we could see these kids. I'm saying kids. I mean, they're in these like adult bodies.
Yeah.
But, we can see them get hurt and then repaired or whatever. And you can see how, because I know Noah Hawley said, he's like, I want this to go for like 8 seasons if I could.
I'm 100% for that.
Me too.
I always think back to like maybe like shows like Game of Thrones. Mm-hmm. Like give us a good amount of seasons.
Right.
Like I think minimum 5 is always a good number.
Mm-hmm.
2 or 3 is just sad. I'm just like, I want more.
I know.
Like 5 is always a good minimum, and if you go any more than that, or just don't turn into Supernatural.
And that's the big thing that I kind of want to
seasons.
say to people that would maybe feel like immediately like, it's not canon to everything, I'm not going to watch it. No, like give this show a chance. Because
100%. And going back to that main point, yes, give this show a chance.
Yeah, let them.
Do not go off of this first episode.
No, I think like I'm very intrigued to see not just this season, but just where it could keep going.
100%.
Because I know he's talked about it in interviews that he has ideas of he wants this to eventually lead up to the events of Alien.
The show is huge, and it's going to be something people are going to have to really sink their teeth into. This strange, exciting, and scary world.
I want the audience to feel everything, dreading what's going to come around the corner, hair rising up on the back of their neck. You want to give the audience that feeling they got from the original Alien. When you go to bed afterwards, it's very hard to sleep.
And we could see, like, okay, who was those characters talking with Ash on the other end of that phone
or
call?
the merger of Wayland and Yutani.
Yeah,
you know, how
right.
is that going to happen? Then is Prodigy going to essentially take their synthetics and merge it with Wayland synthetics and make what we know is Ash?
Yeah.
Because Ash has a little bit more human characteristics and he's not a cyborg like we see in Alien Earth. Like, what are they going to do there? And that's the kind of like back to my main point. Like, are we going to get political in this show and see the companies fight?
I think so.
And I want to see that.
Yeah.
I want to see all these. I want to see a dynamic of power. I want to see all these companies fight for power.
Yeah.
And you could already kind of see that in the episode to where we see the spaceship crash on Prodigy land, which maybe it was me, and I'll just say this is like a slight negative. It took me until after watching the episode to put all those pieces together. I had no idea they landed on Prodigy, like on their land.
Prodigy City or whatever, yeah.
And like, maybe this is just me nitpicking. I wanted it to be more futuristic. It wasn't as futuristic as I wanted it to be for Earth, but again, it might have been just because it's Prodigy City and it's maybe a lesser than city than the rest of, like, say, Wayland or Yutani's developments.
Yeah. So it's my understanding, is this how you're reading it? Like the fact that a company named Prodigy has its own city. So this is a futuristic world where basically monopolies rule the world.
Yes.
And they have their own, you know, that's kind of how, that's my read on it also.
It just took me forever to figure that out.
Yeah.
Watching the episode, that was my one of my kind of like, okay, I had to like read into it a little bit more. I wish that was explained a little bit better.
Yeah.
Like it kind of was in the beginning sequence, but you're so distracted by looking at all the awesome stuff that you're like, wait, what are they talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, they're split into 3 companies. Okay, got it.
Yeah,
There's
like
3 different
corporations
companies.
literally have their own military.
Yeah.
In this, and one of the brother, Wendy's brother, is a soldier for Prodigy.
Yes.
Okay, and then I guess we're going to see.
Give me those pulse rifles though.
I
Those
know.
were not enough.
I know.
That was a tease, man. I just wanted the pulse rifle so bad.
I feel like we're going to get pulse rifles for sure.
Wayland's going to show up, be like, here's some real soldiers. We're coming in. That's our ship. Why are you taking our ship? Which, again, it goes back to the thing. I want to see some alien politics into this. I want to see Wayland come in, start to fight Prodigy, be like, no, that's our ship.
Yeah.
I know it landed in your land, but that's ours. We have to take this. Why did you go in?
Right.
Like, I want to see that dynamic, and I think that would also help, like, the show even more.
And I think that's something that some people need to understand, is because I know people are just so eager about, like, when they think of Alien, it just immediately pops in your head. It's the xenomorph. It's iconic. The design's amazing. But what makes these movies what they are? It's not necessarily Alien. It is those politics. It is those kind of like, oh, it's more the fear of this corporation.
100%.
That's almost scary. The humans are scarier than, and I know that's something that Noah Hawley wants to kind of analyze in the show.
I want that leaned into.
Like, are we even worthy of staying? Like, should we even succeed?
We have combined this story of humanity facing this existential threat, both from biological monsters and from synthetic artificial intelligence, which always raises the question, does humanity deserve to survive?
Should we even be alive? Like,
100%.
aren't we worse than, that's kind of David's whole point, right?
Yeah.
It's like, that humans should be exterminated.
100%.
You know, they're terrible. And look at what they've done. So that is a fascinating, and I think that's maybe why you're bringing in the purity of children into it.
Yeah.
You know, to show that, like, this is them at their, and that's why it's Neverland, right? Because you're a child forever. You're
Amazing name of an
frozen in
episode.
time. You know,
Amazing.
that's essentially explained to her that it's like, you're never really going to age. You're going to be like this forever.
100%. That symbolism of Peter Pan, like, shown on the top, absolutely amazing. I loved it. And all the characters are named after characters from Peter Pan.
Right.
I love that. I love that detail.
Yeah, that was very cool.
So we obviously got to the crash ship. We got to Prodigy. We got to the synthetics. We absolutely love all of that. Now, the ship is crashed. Prodigy goes in and is trying to see what is going on with this crash ship. First and foremost, that ship destroyed so much stuff. I am glad they did not let off on that. They just went, boom, this is a catastrophe. This is really bad. So my thoughts, when we see the ship, we go in, it straight just hits me, aliens.
Yeah.
Aliens. The tanks, everything.
Right.
It's not the pulse rifles I needed, but aliens. How do we feel about essentially not seeing the alien again near that end? All of it.
I think that's fine. I think that's good, because you've got to he's like he's the shark from Jaws, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you don't want to overuse him. You want to keep him kind of, and I'm just so fascinated and eager to learn about these other new aliens. Like, what are their evolved forms?
So do we like the new aliens? Do we like the new creatures?
The eyeball thing is fascinating.
I
to me.
feel like the eyeball guy too.
Because I love the idea, like, okay, now we've got another thing to worry about that jumps at your face.
Yes.
But it's not inserting something into your mouth. It's lodging itself into your eye. And it's my understanding well, you saw the sheep, how it had like the large.
that big
and
eye.
so,
You know what's crazy is I wanted that thing. I don't know why. To be cute. I wanted it to be cute for some reason.
want
And
one
like
cute
docile.
alien?
I wanted it docile. And be like, this thing's fine. Everything else is killer, but
want-
this thing is a cute little
you want
alien.
Baby Yoda of the
It's
alien
just Baby
franchise.
Yoda alien
Yeah.
franchise. Like this thing's a partner,
Yeah.
helps destroy the aliens.
Hey,
Not really, but I would have been funny if that
Disney
happened.
owns both. So we
I'm
can
just
make
saying,
it,
merchandise,
throw it in
I would
there.
buy it. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Merchandise. I like that alien.
What did we think of the ticks, alien ticks?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
either.
know. I got to see what they do.
Yeah, me too.
I got to see what they do. It was kind of fascinating, but again, I'm all for the different species
Me
because
too.
how many times are we going to keep doing the xenomorph over and over again?
This
We
is
need to introduce something new.
Yeah, this is something that fans have been wanting from the franchise forever. This show's finally giving that to us. It's like it's a big universe. You know what I'm saying? Like there's got to be more out there than just engineers and xenomorphs
100%.
and predators and whatever. So it's super cool that we're getting new species.
When we saw the crates and everything, obviously those species was there.
I'm wondering, now we're just getting into like theorizing where the show could go. I'm curious if we'll get a flashback episode to the Maginot.
Oh, I
like,
bet we will.
Seeing like, okay, how did you guys
100%.
retrieve all these? Because,
And like them attacking the ship, the aliens, like how it went down.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
it was the cyborg that released them. Maybe it's deeper than we think.
right.
You know?
Yeah.
Maybe he was the one that did it.
Yeah, maybe there's a twist there. Like
Yeah.
maybe
maybe Whalen was like, no, you need to set this to land to Prodigy.
Right.
We need this to land in Prodigy because we
Right.
need to wipe out the company.
And I would be very interested to see if we learn more about him and his story, where because that's just good writing for a villain. You see his point of view,
Yeah.
and then you start to like, okay, I'm kind of rooting for you in a way,
yeah.
But then what does that say about me? Like I want the aliens and you to win and kill all the, you know what I mean? So I'm just very curious to see where that goes. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't
Okay,
know what.
okay.
What
That's okay.
I think it's interesting to see like. It's just going to be so weird to see how they handle. I don't know. I don't know. You tell me. Where do you think it will go next?
So after leaving the entire episode, I think the entire episode was amazing. I think it really just felt like the old 1979 movie. I absolutely loved it. There's so much detail. I think it goes back to I want the political side. I want the companies to fight no matter what. I want something to do with the cyborg and the synthetics. And it kind of goes back to our original answer. It's so hard to judge it on this first episode.
Yeah.
It's a great episode. It's the first time we're ever getting a television series for the Alien.
Yeah.
It's so hard to just judge it off of one episode. And that
Yeah.
usually tends to be most TV shows.
You're just getting one piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
So it's like I need to see the entire, puzzle
entire
to
piece.
really, yeah.
Things that you did not like. Let's just rip off the band-aid. If we had to pick some things we did not like, what would it be? For me, I still was bothered with how big the facehugger was, how big the big alien was. I do understand the concept of like, okay, maybe we're going back to the old Alien 1979, like in a costume. That is awesome. But the proportions for me was a little off. I just don't know why they got so big. Again, maybe going back to our conversation where, okay, maybe these are the original one-for-one xenomorphs and that's how they're supposed to be. But when I originally saw that, I said, okay, why are they so big? A little bit off. Number two, with Wendy, we see that she kind of cares for her brother. I want to see how they're going to lean into that. But they just talked about how they don't feel anything. And now we're already diving into so soon with first episode. Okay, she actually might feel something.
Yeah.
I wanted that to be a little bit stretched out a little bit more. I understand they had to give her a reason to go to the thing, but I don't know. It might have been interesting to see the creator of Prodigy kind of have almost like a power trip moment to be like, you know what? I want to show off all of these, creations. I want you guys to go take care of that ship and see what's in there. I don't know. Maybe like I was okay with what they decided to do with her. And like, okay, I kind of feel for my brother. I want to go see my brother. Totally understandable.
Yeah.
But I almost wanted maybe a different way for them to get to that ship
Yeah.
and involving essentially evil Peter Pan.
Yeah.
If that
Yeah.
makes sense.
I think that it's going to be so fascinating to see how the Alien fandom responds to this because
Absolutely.
I'm very, I have my finger on the pulse when it comes to that fandom. I know how they are. They are split up into multiple camps.
100%.
You have people that either they only love Alien or they love Aliens or they love both. Pretty much unanimously, they
love Alien 3.
So I'm a rare breed. I'm a rare breed where I see the beauty in Alien 3.
After I read the original script, it's so hard for me to love it.
Yeah, that's a complicated movie to talk about for sure. But like Resurrection is the one that, people either love it or hate it.
Hey, it's Ron Perlman's in it. Cool with me.
Yeah, and I mean, I love that movie. I think it's fun. It's just a fun 90s action flick. It's got a lot of, 90s style to it. But this episode, and I'm just judging based off the first episode.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the only thing
What
I've
did you
seen.
not like? If you had to pick something, what did you not like?
That's where I'm going with it is like there is some resurrection vibes in this
Okay,
episode.
okay.
When she jumps off when she's like, they're like,
Yes,
Wendy,
yes,
and she
yeah,
comes
I know
out.
exactly what you're talking
That
about.
felt like when,
Yes.
when we're sort of displaying the powers and you think in
Yeah.
Resurrection, the way Sigourney Weaver throws the ball and
Yeah,
which
yeah.
she really did, by the way. But just some of those shots didn't work for me.
Okay.
I felt like you could have, you could show us that she's got these, like, she's strong and all this stuff in less, in just, I don't know, a way that looked more realistic.
Like not right off the bat. Like
Yeah.
not show us that she is very powerful right off the bat.
Yeah, I don't know. Some of those shots did not work for me. Like, where in the beginning, them on the ship, I was like, this is amazing. Like, it's kind of jarring to go from you're on the ship and it feels like you've teleported us to 1979 Alien. Then we cut to Earth and it just feels like I'm in a totally different show.
Yeah.
And that
yeah.
was a little, but at the same time, that's also what I'm so intrigued by.
100%. We
Because
need more.
it's
We need
delving
more.
into just a totally new, like something I never thought we would ever get.
So if you had to tell our audience watching who have seen it already,
Yeah.
or if you're just in here for spoilers because you love yourself,
Yeah.
I would highly recommend watching the show. 100%.
Me too. Yeah,
End of the
definitely
day.
give it a chance.
Give it a chance.
100%. Yeah, I know that, like I say, some people are going to hear some of the things we're saying and immediately go, no, please don't do that.
100% watch
Check
it.
it out. Like, really give it a shot because I think this could be a really fascinating series.
100%. And it goes back to like, we need more. Like, let's put it this way. We know it's that good of a show because we want more. And we're already
exactly.
we're overanalyzing it.
Yeah,
We're literally
yeah.
going into so depths about it because me and you we love Alien. We so we are going to overanalyze it to death.
100%.
To death. Even my mom brought up a good example when she knew about the alien Earth. She literally said, "Oh, finally, there's new creatures. Like, how many
Yeah.
times do we have to keep dealing with the
Right.
xenomorph?" And that was a great understanding of
Right.
like, I think people are going to really appreciate that part.
And some people are, their big thing is, oh, they went to Earth. Like, how's that going to work? And it's like
Timeline wise, yes, it was a little. Originally, when this project was announced, I was like, "Oh wait, I'm so confused."
But, you got to think. It's like, okay, because people say, well, why was that not mentioned in the first Alien? Well, you got to think. They were in cryosleep.
Yeah,
They were
it's
out
true.
there in space. I mean,
That's
they
true.
were, and then they were heading back to Earth, and then they got sidetracked. They had to go to LV-426, where, of course, that's where all the events take place and everything. So it's like, yeah, that could have totally happened, and they're just not aware.
Yeah,
They're not aware, And
aware.
then in Aliens, she doesn't go to Earth.
100%.
And then, some people say, well, no, they mentioned in the Earth, and it's like, yeah, Burke says that. He
Yes.
works for Weyland
Yes.
Yutani. Of course he's lying.
Yes.
He's going to
100%.
say whatever.
100%.
So
I love
it
that.
could easily be explained.
I want to finish on something fun. And if you've been watching for this long, thank you so much. Remember to like the video and comment down below what your favorite Alien movie is. But I want to do something fun. I'm going to do this or that. Okay. I'm going to give you a this or that, and you got to tell me which one you like more. Okay? So we're going to start off fun. Alien 3 or Alien Resurrection?
Oh, Alien Resurrection. Yeah.
Alien Resurrection or The Predator?
Predator.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
The Predator or AVP?
Predator.
Okay. Predator or Predator 2?
Predator.
Okay. Predator or Aliens?
How dare you?
Yeah, I had to.
Well, I got to go Aliens.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%.
This one you already kind of answered earlier. Aliens or Alien?
Alien.
Alien or Alien Romulus?
Alien.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh.
I love Romulus.
I love Romulus too. I love
Alien.
Romulus too.
Yeah.
Alien or the original script for Alien 3?
The original script for Alien 3 would have been fascinating to see, but I'm
Yeah.
going to go Alien.
Did you read the? You ever
Yeah.
do the podcast? You ever listen to the podcast?
No.
The original. There's a
No.
podcast.
I have the book.
Yeah, the comic.
I've read yes.
It's really good.
Yeah, it is.
It's really good. Not many people know about that. So
It would be cool if they adapted to like animation.
Oh, 100%.
Do that.
Oh,
you
do like
know?
a Predator Hunter of Hunters.
A Killer of Killers.
Killer of Killers. Killer of
yeah,
Killers.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
they need to do that with the alien.
Yes.
stuff.
Yes, they do.
100%. Like give us, that would be really
That
cool.
animation. Oh, I mean, we could sit here forever and talk
Yeah.
about the Predator franchise. That is on a just
Predator
trajectory right
Badlands.
now.
I need it injected into my veins.
I know it looks so
today.
good, and
Yeah.
well, we'll talk about that for just a second. But like we will. But like getting Weyland Yutani synthetics, is that going to play into Alien Earth? Is Predator Badlands going to play into Alien Earth?
I just know that Fede Alvarez and Dan Trachtenberg, the director of these of Prey and Badlands, they are friends in real life, and they've talked and they've joked about, hey, maybe we'll direct an AVP together. And it really seems like they're laying the groundwork
100%.
towards these two colliding.
I mean, it's such a clear definition.
It just seems like
such a clear definition.
we're going to get possibly like an Alien Endgame, and I am here for it.
The only downside of AVP, the first one, was because it was a PG-13 rating.
Yeah.
That was literally it. If you gave us that R rating, I still love AVP, the first one.
Yeah.
But if you gave us that R rating, it would have been fantastic.
Oh,
and
yeah.
no, I don't want to hear Requiem. Those brothers had no idea what they were doing.
Right,
It was
yeah.
way too dark. Couldn't see anything.
Right.
Really, well, there is a rated R one. No, that one does not count.
Yeah.
Requiem does not count. I had to turn on my TV to highest brightness to see one, xenomorph tooth.
And then you think about, not only do we have Alien Earth, we have the show, we got Predator Badlands.
Badlands.
They're working on Romulus 2 now. We've got Alien Isolation 2 coming. They're working on
Dude,
that.
I know. All right, let us finish up. So overall, the rating of Alien Earth. I highly recommend this show. I think even though parts of us might think it's going to split the fandom for multiple different reasons, if you're an Alien fan, I think you need to go into this with open arms, open mind, because I think there's a lot of elements they're adding to it that we've never seen before in the franchise, and I think it's fresh and new and beautiful. I easily give the first episode an 8.5 out of 10. I think it's very enjoyable. I think there's even the small things that are a little bit nitpicky that I'm nitpicky about, I think throughout the series are going to be addressed.
Yes.
And I think it's a really solid first episode. I think it's great.
And I just trust the team behind this.
True.
You know what I mean? Noah Hawley's never done anything bad. I think it's going to be, we're not far off. I would say 8 out of 10 for me.
8 out of 10? I can do that.
Yeah.
So guys, if you're watching this and you love the spoilers and now you're interested to go watch Alien Earth, absolutely do it. Again, thank you so much to FX and Hulu for having us. We are at San Diego Comic-Con at their activation. We're going to do some more videos off of that. So remember to subscribe. Remember to subscribe to my man LP for everything Alien, but also movies. You're doing a little bit more movies now. You're doing deep dives on everything.
Yeah, I watch everything. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not just. I'm a super Alien fan, but I love movies.
Love it. I love it.
Talk about
I love it. You're in my realm, man. Movies, television,
Yeah.
everything nerdy. That's what we love.
That's me.
Guys, thank you so much. I'll catch you next time.